Oh, hold on. Duh, duh. You know, it helps if you turn the camera on. Good morning. This is Coffee and Headlines, and I have a question. What on earth is fantasy football? This is something I've never heard about before. I can come up with my own very personal, very kinky ideas of what fantasy football might be in my perverted, dirty old man mind, but that's neither here nor there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we know nothing about fantasy football but are very intrigued, where we exchange headlines from our city, state, and country with your questions, ideas, and suggestions on how to best enjoy our lives living here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. Today is September 5th. We are 10 days away, well, 9 if you count September 15, 10 days or 9 days away from celebrating Mexican independence, and we continue with more independence related content today, and we will continue to do that between now and the actual date. What is going on in your lives? Do let me know. But first, as always, if you have something really important. Okay, so Betsy Ann says it's a fun perversion, and Gary says it's a cult. Avoid it. That's what I used to say about bathhouses. But, oh, too much information. Never mind. As always, welcome to Coffee and Headlines. If this is the first time that you're watching live, please let us know by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be happy to give you a lovely little welcome. And if you have something really important to say, like a nice conversation or explanation of fantasy football, now I'm all curious about this. Please add a capital letter Q to your comments so that we can find out exactly what is on your mind. Let us get started with the news today. I don't think I set the, oh no, that's not the news. Well, that is the news, but why am I looking at, I'm not supposed to be looking at this. What I'm looking for, oh no, yeah, that is the news. Boy, am I scattered today. This is the news. I thought I was showing you the weather, but the first news item today has to do with the weather. There is a new tropical storm in the Pacific Ocean, and its name is Jova. It is presently located southwest of the coast of Jalisco and Colima, and is expected to evolve into a hurricane by tomorrow. However, a quick look at windy shows that it is heading away from the country, and as such, it presents no danger to our region beyond scattered rains here and there. Oh. Well, that snuck up on me. I'm sorry about that. I am back. This past weekend, Mayor Michel and his crew spent some time walking the streets of Colonia Agua Azul as part of the Transformation Saturdays program. Aside from doing the general cleaning and painting of public areas that is usually done, the visit gave Mayor Michel the opportunity to hear from residents about their specific needs as they relate to their neighborhood. And if you're curious as to where this is, Colonia Agua Azul is located between the Libramiento and the hills behind the city. You may recall we went there some time ago. We went on a walking tour that took us to the El Salto waterfall, and that was a lot of fun. Also related to improvements, city brigades are now visiting residents of the La Aurora buildings to get a consensus on the colors that will be applied to their buildings. We recall that improvements for the residential units were announced in recent weeks, including the painting of the buildings, which were constructed 35 years ago and have not been repainted ever since. Thanks to private funding, the new paint coat is expected to last 15 years. Let us just hope that the residents pick the nicest of the 7 color combos offered to them. all of which can be appreciated in this article in a series of renders such as this one. Did I like the colors? Well, let's not talk about my preferences. You go take a look at the colors and you let me know what you think. Yesterday, we announced that Xochitl Galvez was the first, or is the first, presidential candidate to be officially confirmed for the 2024 presidential elections here in Mexico. President López Obrador announced that he will make the public announcement of the candidate for his party, the Morena Party, tomorrow. This, of course, after an internal poll was concluded through the past few days or weeks, I'm not entirely sure. And of course, the main contenders here are former Foreign Affairs Chancellor Marcelo Ebrard and former Mexico City Chief of Government Claudia Sheinbaum. So if the election or the determination of the party is that Sheinbaum becomes the official candidate, that means that Mexico will have not one but two lady candidates to the presidency of the country. We shall see what transpires tomorrow about that. And speaking of López Obrador, you know, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during the recent Maya train trial run. I mean, López Obrador, our president, was there, and he was joined by Jalisco Governor Enrique Alfaro, and also present was Carlos Slim, whose construction companies have been largely responsible for the construction of the new Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta highway. Well, some conversations must have gone on since Governor Alfaro has now announced that, and he's still got 1 year to go, 1 year away from ending his term as governor. There are federal projects that simply will not get done during his administration as promised, and those include the Federación Bridge and the big libramiento or overpass that would go through the mountains bypassing Puerto Vallarta altogether. We have talked about this macro, broader, bigger libramiento in the past, but we don't bring it up frequently because it's so far, or it seems to be so far on the waiting list. The Federación Bridge was or is a lot more important because once the highway gets completed, we don't know exactly what's going to happen to all that new incoming vehicular traffic coming into Puerto Vallarta, but it is what it is. And if Governor Alfaro says there are no federal funds to conclude this project during the next year, then only God knows when we will see the completion of this bridge, so important to our well-being, at least if you drive around. We'll take a look at the weather forecast just to see what's going on. And let me put it on my screen, and I see that that cloud looks like the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man giving Marlon Brando an intimate back massage. Okay, so I am at a loss here because I have no idea who the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man is. Maybe he participates in fantasy football. What do I know? All I know is that right now we're enjoying 29 degrees Celsius, 82% humidity, and 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And I know that our weather forecast for today says mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 50%, a high of 33, and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, chance of rain of 80%, a high of 33, and a low of 25. And on Thursday, scattered thunderstorms possible throughout the day, a high of 31, a low of 24, and a chance of rain of 79%. I think I felt some rain last night. Well, not felt, but heard. I think I heard some rain falling last night, or maybe I was dreaming. I think I woke up and I went back to sleep. Moving right along, I have more headlines to share with you, starting with this one. Mexican independence is getting expensive. As we get close to the date in which Mexico celebrates our independence from Spanish rule, everything seems to indicate that the celebration will be more expensive than last year by as much as 40%. And this applies even if you choose to celebrate at home with family or friends, as food and beverages have increased in price. The article that I'm referencing here goes on to compare the cost of traditional dishes such as pozole, for example, which would have cost 800 pesos to feed 10 people last year and will cost 1,400 this year. In the next 10 days, of course, we can expect to see a huge number of local restaurants announcing all sorts of Independence Day promotions to encourage you and I to go and dine out. So rather than suggest to you what you may want to do to celebrate Mexican independence, I will do that, but not today. Today, please indulge me and share with me in your comments what you have done in the past to celebrate Mexican independence, and I will share my own take on the celebration in the next few days. But I'm just curious as to what your idea of celebrating Mexican independence is. There will be no shaming, just curious about what they told you or where you've been. Okay, now, if you are a fan of astronomy and you look up to the skies in the coming days, you may spot comet Nishimura approaching our planet, but fear not, it will not get any closer than 125 million kilometers from Earth. But according to National Geographic, the comet will be visible at dawn and at dusk between 6:30 and 7 p.m. in the afternoon or evening, for example, until 22nd of September, being the closest to Earth on the 17th. Of course, the placement of the sun in relationship to morning and afternoon and evening and so forth and so on has everything to do with successful viewing of this natural phenomenon. But if I read more about this, I'll keep you posted. Just know that if you look up to the sky, there is a comet approaching. And I think this is the last one that I have. Yes, it is. Last but not least, it is nice to see that Informador, a state-based newspaper, gave San Sebastián del Oeste a favorable nod, indicating that the town is the prettiest town out of the state of Jalisco's collection of 12 pueblos mágicos or magical towns. Of course, this makes us happy because San Sebastián is the closest pueblo mágico to Puerto Vallarta at a driving time of approximately 70 minutes. The town is particularly fun during two annual events, the Hot Air Balloon Festival, which takes place this month, and the Patron Saint Fiestas, which take place during the month of January. And I know what you're thinking. What do you mean, Paco? A hot air balloon that takes place this month in San Sebastián del Oeste and you haven't talked about it? That's right. Why haven't we talked about it? Because we know nothing about it. And that's just the nature of the beast. I've been to the Hot Air Balloon Festival in San Sebastián del Oeste, and it is not the big inflatable balloons like they're going to have in León, Guanajuato. It is the kind that you make out of paper and glue and a little candle and whatnot. It is a lot of fun to go. It is a lot of fun to watch. Hundreds of people enter a competition, and all the balloons are lit up from the main plaza. But as it is often the case, the lovely government of San Sebastián del Oeste does not announce specifics about these types of things until the very last minute. However, we'll keep our eyes open, and if we learn something about this year's hot air balloon, I will be happy to let you know. And of course, the patron saint fiestas on January talk about eye candy if you like cowboys and cowgirls, I suppose. But these fiestas are just way too much fun to spend time in San Sebastián del Oeste. It's nothing like San Sebastián del Oeste, because if you've been to San Sebas or San Sebastián, you know that it is a very quiet town. Definitely not during the patron saint fiestas. It is a week of loudness, sexiness, well, just because there's nice stuff to look at. and it is a fun time to be there. But that's not yet. That's not happening until January. Right now, let us focus on what's happening with you. Let us take a quick look at your comments just to see what everybody is up to this morning. Lots of good mornings, and I appreciate that. And of course, one good afternoon, courtesy of our dear friend David Dunphy. And I apologize for the constant clearing of the throat. My sinuses have been just playing mind games with me for the past few days, but I'm feeling much better. Param pam pim pum pum. A fun perversion. I love it. Param pam pim pum pam. Do 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 dee. Never did fantasy football, but have been involved in pick'ems regarding high school and college football for years. I'm still in the dark. This must be a north of the border thing that I know nothing about. Let's see. I'm looking for cues. Yay! Hello, Lars. It's great to read you. My dear friend Lars went and spent a nice weekend in Cuyutlán and Manzanillo in the state of Colima, and I'm really, really excited to find out about his adventure. Does Mexico have crooked elections like in Chicago? Well, I don't know how crooked elections are in Chicago, but I can tell you that there's got to be some maneuvering going on in elections in just about any place on the planet. Maybe it's the nature of the beast. Oh, I see a big, long queue. Oh, Christy does fantasy football. Okay. My experience with fantasy football has a group of about 12 people picking players for their team, and then these players get points when the real player on a team has some success, catching a pass, running yards, throwing a touchdown pass, running a touchdown, and many of the other ways to score. Is this a wine drinking game? Each person selects their team for the day and accumulates points, and at the end of the season, the winning person gets the prize money. Each player pays an entry fee. So this has to do with real football players? I am so confused. I'm so Googling this after the game. After the broadcast. Sta Puffed is a character from Ghostbusters. Okay, fair enough. I acquire much knowledge every time I get together with you guys, and I appreciate that very much. New from Vancouver. Oh, a new person. Welcome, Vicky Malcolm. Fantasy football gambling made to look like a party. Is this like loteria? Interesting. Then Brian comments, our experience of Independence Day is getting caught in a torrential downpour and going home before the fireworks. Yay, I can relate to that. Ben says, I go to church often just to say prayers, mainly dedicated always for the poverty-stricken people of Mexico and the world. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Yay, Vicky says, thank you for the kind welcomes. Vicky, if there's anything on your mind that we can help, please tell us what's on your mind. If you know anything about fantasy football, talk to me. Take Golden Seal for sinuses. I don't know what that is, but I appreciate the recommendation. I will Google it after the broadcast. Thank you so much. Okay. I want to make it into a wine drinking game. I thought I would start a wine drinking game every time I see Marjorie Taylor Greene in the news, but then it got very expensive. Very, very expensive. And that's all I'm going to say. Oh, somebody was asking about Loteria yesterday. Now I learned that Loteria is now being sold at Costco. Thank you very much for that tip. It is much appreciated. I forget who was asking. Uh, oh, see, now we're talking. Brian says our fantasy football team would consist of the cutest boys, nothing to do with their ability to play football. By boys, I mean, is fantasy football related to professional football teams or school? Oh my God. All the things that are going through my mind right now. Maybe we wrap this up. Between fantasy football and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I have no wine in the house. That's dangerous. Thank you, as always, for making me laugh, for making me cough, for making me clear my throat, and for enduring me while I do that. I apologize. Sometimes I get to my mute microphone, other times I'm not that successful. I hope you have a sinus clear day. I hope you, oh, thank you for that. That's what I was hoping. Professional men playing football. That's what I want for my birthday. But that's not until July. Anyhow, have a nice day. Have a great Tuesday, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow after I have Googled everything there is to know about fantasy football and a new treatment for sinus problems. Have a good one. Oh, and I hit the wrong button. I tell you, today I'm not on my good day. Where is the button to say goodbye? Here it is. Ciao.